Hi, team. Okay, when working with CoughDrop support, one of the most important pieces that you'll deal with is the settings on a particular account. So I already showed you how to masquerade within an account, or even just to look at the account settings. You can come to this CoughDrop option and input the username. Sorry, I'm already there. um, and then you can see who the account that you're working with. You'll know exactly whose account you're looking at because their username and information will be displayed here. Even if you're still logged into your account, you can see my user icon and things are still displayed here, but I know I'm on Mia's account page because her information is shown. I can do the same thing if I go to her preferences page. I can see what kinds of things are adjusted and assigned for her particular account. This preferences page is like the powerhouse of any particular account. It's going to make all the assignments and all the details and let the program know how this account is supposed to function. So when there are problems with an account, often the issue shows up here in this preferences section. So sometimes you may have somebody who is having a problem getting out of their account. They may have assigned a PIN to their account so that they can't speak mode without entering that PIN. That's where this is going to be displayed right there. There are some pieces about styling, whether there's a white background or whether the image itself has a clear background or a white background. Almost always you're going to want clear, but there are a few instances where you want to have a white or a black background for those images. Hidden buttons, you can decide how they look up. That doesn't come up too often. One of the things that does come up fairly regularly is this high contrast option. If you select high contrast, all of the images on a particular account are going to show in high contrast, which is going to make them look funny. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So you can see this account looks normal, everything's fine, but I'm going to go into speak mode. I forgot to change it to Mia. Normally you would need to masquerade to make this happen. Sorry, things are a little slow because we're making a video, but I'm gonna switch communicators and I want to do her account. And you can see now that everything is in high contrast. It looks a little bit funky, and this especially gets really interesting looking if anybody has assigned photos as the icons on their buttons, because photos will look really weird when it's in high contrast mode. So sometimes you'll get an email from someone saying, all the colors are wrong, everything's weird. Likely the account has been set in high contrast mode. So I'm actually we're gonna go masquerade as this account. Before we were just kind of looking at it, but I'm gonna masquerade. So that shows me exactly what things are like in this account. So I'd come in here and say, oh my gosh, all the people are yellow, everything is all these crazy colors. So I'm going to go to the preferences page. Okay, so we're going to come to the preferences page, and I know whose preferences page I'm on because their information is displayed at the top of the screen. That's really important. Then I'm going to come to the styling section. I can see that high contrast option is checked, so I would uncheck that, or a lot of times I don't actually change it for people, but I tell them how to change it so that they know where to go and find it later on. If they change it themselves, they tend to remember a little bit better. And if it comes up again, they can be like, oh yeah, I remember I did this once before. So it's not that I'm trying to be a jerk, but a lot of times when I have support questions that come in, I don't fix things for people, but I tell them how to fix it so that they have some experience with how to get to it. And if it comes up again with another student or with another person, they're a little more experienced. They don't have to reach out quite as much and be like, oh my gosh, can you go fix this thing for me? And instead they can say, yeah, I know how to do that. I can maneuver that. Some other options that come up pretty regularly are in the selection settings. If you have assigned your account some of these time-related pieces, so let's say I wanted to select without release after a particular amount of time. So if I'm holding down the button, I want it to select anyway, even if I haven't let go of the button after a particular amount of time, or I have to hold down the button for a particular amount of time in order for things to work. One of the things that happens is people come into their settings and they're looking through things and they make some adjustments. So like these two settings are kind of opposite of each other. So if they've assigned both of them on their account and then they go into speak mode, they're going to have problems. This is not going to work because the program's going to say, okay, you have to pick something once it's been held down for this long, but we don't pick anything until it's been held down for that long. and it kind of makes the program confused. So if you have somebody who's saying, I'm holding buttons and nothing's happening and it's crazy, probably there's something going on in this press section, the length of press. Also, if you've made some assignments here and you come and where's the one that says select as soon as, oh, right here, select as soon as the button is pressed. So if I've made some assignments here and then I check this button, those assignments are going to go away. They're still assigned in the account. They're just not shown because I told the program that I wanted to select as soon as it was pressed. So that's something to be very aware of. If there's an issue with people trying to select things and they're either not making the selection or it's taking too long or something, probably that's part of the problem. Looking in sync, I don't usually have too many problems in that section. The startup and extras, there are some pieces in here that people will have issues with. Some people want their vocalization screen to clear as soon as they make, but as soon as they speak things, some don't. There's some people with some issues about self-interrupting. Yeah, you can have the program not be able to select additional things for a period of time after a selection is made. That's something used by a lot of people. Like if they have a student that is stimming on a particular button, that's not something we generally encourage people to do because this is a person's communication set. If they want to say the same word 50 times, that's up to them. But those are some things that are available and that come up. Let's see, there's not too much. Can edit buttons in speak mode. There'll be a little icon in speak mode that you can use that comes up once in a while, but not too often. Just be aware that you can look through this preferences section and there's just a lot of stuff in here. This is where the bulk of anything funky going on in an account, this is likely where to look first. To be able to look and see, okay, what's odd? What things are checked that maybe most people don't have checked, or why might that be happening? Is there something that's going on? So this preferences section, really important. Be aware that the general preferences that are listed here, those apply to the account on any device that it's opened on, whereas the device specific preferences down here, those will be specific to the device that's being used. So you'll have to make any changes in these sections on each individual device. They're not a blanket or a universal change that can be made across the account. These ones have to be made on each individual device. I hope that helps a little bit. Preferences are important. This is where the bulk of your support options are going to take place. So just keep that in mind. Thanks.